This screencast is on fractions, it's on adding. If when I say fractions, you go, I can't do it, then please wipe your memory, because I promise you, I'm going to go through nice and slowly. It is really, really easy. It is easy, and I don't say that lightly because I know a lot of people struggle with it. But actually what they struggle with is they don't struggle with working on fractions in isolation. They struggle on working with fractions across the whole of fractions. So what I mean by that is they get mixed up about what to do when you're adding and subtracting between when you multiply and divide, and they forget what to do. So really important that as we go through these, you try and do as many questions on each one as you possibly can. Okay, let's go. What is a fraction? Really simple. Okay, fractions often represent something that is less than 1, but not always. The top number tells us how much we have of something. The bottom number expresses the size of what we have. The bigger the number, the smaller size. Now what I mean by that is if we always try and go back to pizzas or food, and you might be surprised to know that I like my food, is I've got here 1/3 of a pizza. 1/3. So I've got quite a big slice here because I've got 1/3. If I said to you, let's make this pizza into sixths. Let me just rub that out. So now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices of pizza. If I had 1/6, then I would have a much smaller slice of pizza, wouldn't I? So the bigger the number on the bottom, the smaller each slice is. So please, as we go through this, please understand some basic rules as we go through, and they're going to come up now. And then use those rules. So copy these out so that you've got them to hand on the left-hand side as you're doing things maybe on the right, or have them on the right as you're doing things on the left. The first one is to add any fraction or subtract any fraction, I might add as well, the bottom number must be the same. So those bottom numbers must be the same. If they're not the same, then we've got to do something about it, okay? Secondly, if the bottom numbers are the same, the denominators, if the bottom numbers are not the same, then just convert the fraction. We'll go through this, so don't worry. Yeah. Once the bottom numbers are the same, then just add the top numbers. It really is as simple as that. We're going to do some examples here. We're going to go over each one. We can see that on this occasion, the bottom numbers are the same, so we're going to teach you how to do that. On the second scenarios, the bottom numbers are different, but they're easily converted. And on the third one, the bottom numbers are different, and they're a little bit more difficult to convert, take a little bit longer. They're no more difficult, they just take a little bit longer. So let's go through the first lot of examples. I'm just going to bring up all the questions. We're going to go through the first one. So as it says before, if the bottom numbers are the same, just add the top numbers. So if I do that, 1 + 2 = 3, doesn't it? So I'd have 3, and why do I not add the bottom numbers is often a question I get. The reason is because this is telling us how much of something we have. This is telling us the size. This is why they need to be the same, because they need to be the same size to be able to add them. So I've got 1/4 of a slice of pizza plus 2/4 of a slice of pizza. I end up having 3/4 of a slice of pizza, and hopefully that's starting to make a little bit of sense. Let's do this one together, and then I'm going to chuck you over to do these ones on your own. So I've got fifths, so they're the same again. I've got 2/5 plus 2/5. That gives me what? It gives me 4/5. It gives me 4/5. Hopefully that is, again, making some sense. Now, on the next one and the one after, I'd like you to pause the video, give them a go on your own, and see how you go. So on the first one, we're going to add 3 and 1 together, and that should give us 4/8. So let's write that down now. 4/8 can also be written as another fraction if we wanted to simplify it. So I'm happy if you wrote 4/8, but a better answer would have been or 1/2 to simplify. Always try and simplify things unless you're asked not to. On the next one, 1 + 2 is 3, so we'd end up with 3/8. I'm sure you've done really, really well there. I'm sure you have. Now it's time to move on to something a little bit more difficult. Are the bottom numbers the same? And the answer is no. But we can easily convert these as we go. So I'm just going to bring up the first two here. And I'm going to convert it by timesing this bottom number by 2 to make it into 4. Now, some people would say, well, I could make this into 2 by dividing. You are right. But we always try and times just because we can't always divide. So on this one, we're going to times this by 2. If we do that to the bottom, the rule is we must do that to the top. So we need to do that to the top also. And then I can rewrite that fraction, can't I? I've got 2 times 1, which gives me 2 over 4. So I've got 2/4, and then I'll still have here 2/4, so plus 2/4. And the great news is here, now I have got a question like I did on the last slide. I got 2/4 plus 2/4, which gives me 4/4. And that also can be cancelled down to equal, hopefully 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So now I'm going to throw over to you guys and girls out there. Give the next one a go. In fact, I'm not sure. Let's give the next one a go and then we'll slowly go through the answers. So pause the video now, give the next one a go, and then see how you've gone. Hopefully you had some time to do that. So the next step is going to be to times this whole fraction by 3 to make it into 15. So 5 to 15 timesing by 3, so I'm going to times the top by 3 also, and that will give me 6/15 plus 2/15, and now I can add across, can't I? So I'm going to end up with 8/15. And there we go. Nice and easy, lemon squeezy. Bring up the next one. So give that one a go, come back and see if you've got it correct. Okay, so let's go now. We're going to times this side by 2. Whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. And we're going to end up with 6/14 plus 1/14. Add those together, we get 7/14 or a half. Last one over there, last one. Really try and get this one bang on. I'm sure you're trying to get every one of them bang on. But if you get this one bang on, then you really know what you're doing. So pause the video now, give it a go, and come back and see if you've got it correct. So what are we going to times this 5 by? Well, we're going to times it by 4 to make it into a 20. Whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. And we end up with 12 over 20 plus 3 over 20. And we're going to add those together and we're going to get 15 over 20. And that can be cancelled down, can't it? To 3 over 4. Hopefully you got that one bang on. We're going to move to the most difficult. This is our Everest now. And it really, really, I promise you, isn't too bad. So now with this one, I can't turn 2 into 3. I can't turn 3 into 2. But I can times them together to give me the number that they can go into. So I could say, well, they're definitely going to go into 6. So I could make 2 into 6 by timesing it by 3. And I can make 3 into 6 by timesing it by 2. We're going to use that information on this one. So let's do that now on the first one. We're going to times this side by 3, and that will get us to 6. Whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. And then we're going to work on the other side as well. So we're going to get that denominator, that bottom number, the same. We're going to times this one by 2. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. And then I can rewrite, can't I? I can rewrite it now. I can rewrite it as 3 times 1 is 3 over 6. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 over 6. So I can rewrite it down below as 3 over 6 plus 4 over 6. Now what do? Those bottom numbers are the same. We're back to the first slide, aren't we? We're back to the first slide. And we can do that. We just add across the top and don't add across the bottom, because we're going to end up with 3 6 plus 4 6 is going to give us 7 6. Now, if you do not know how to convert a top-heavy fraction, then you can happily leave it like that. If you do know, you could have also given it as a mixed number, which is 1 and 1/6. So now I'm going to pause the video. And actually, I want you to do all the next 3 questions on your own. Please look at my working on 1. Please think of the basic principles as you go through. But once we've done this slide, we're off to the quiz, which is absolutely fantastic for you. You're almost at the end of the screencast. So pause the video, give all 3 a go, and then come back and see if you've got them all correct, hopefully. So on the next one, we're going for 10, aren't we? We want to turn these bottom numbers into 10. So here we go. We're going to times this side by 5, and we're going to times this side by 2, and that's going to get these bottom numbers into 10. If I do that, I've got 5 tenths plus 4 tenths, and that's going to end up giving me 5 plus 4 is 9 tenths. Nice and easy, I hope. So on the next ones, we're going for 15, aren't we? Yeah, 3 times 5 is 15. So let's convert these bottom numbers into 15. So I'm going to times this side by 5. And I'm going to times the other side by 3. And that's going to give me 5 fifteenths, isn't it? 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 3, 5 fifteenths. And on the other side, it's going to give me 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. So it's be 6 fifteenths. So I write that down below. I've got the 5 fifteenths here, plus the 6 fifteenths there, and we're going to have another top-heavy fraction, aren't we? And we add them together. Oh, we're not going to have a top-heavy fraction. I do apologise. So we've got 11 fifteenths there, don't we? And on the last one, we're going to times this side by 5. We're going to times this side by 4, and we're going to end up with we're going for 20s, aren't we? So we've got 5 20s plus 8 20s. And we're going to add those two together to give us 13 20s. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying anyway. So that is it. That is all. That is the Everest. So if we can do that, we can do anything when it comes to adding and subtracting. Now, I haven't covered subtracting, but subtracting is exactly the same. All you need to do is go through the same steps, but rather than adding the top numbers, you subtract the top numbers, and it is as easy as that. So here we go. It is time for the quiz. I am absolutely positively sure that you are going to smash this. We've got one very easy one, which is question number 1. We've got 2 slightly easier than the other one, which is 2 and 4. And we've got the tough one where we've got to convert both, which is number 3. So pause the video now, give these all a go. I'm sure you're going to be fine, and come back and see how well you have done. It is time for the results. We're going to go through them. So we have added the top number here and got 2/3. So they're nice and easy. This one was slightly different because this is an 1/8 and this is a 4/4. So we had to times this side by 2 to give us 2/8 plus 2/8 gives me 4/8, or 1/2, which I didn't mention. 1/2. Even better answer, Mr. Warren. Over here, we needed to convert them both into 20/21. So therefore, we times the side by 7 and the side by 3, and you can work that through. And last but not least, we just need to convert one fraction, and that was timesing it by 5 to make it into tenths. So there we go. We've got 5 tenths plus 2 tenths equals 7 tenths, and we are done. Well done, everyone. I really feel that you've done really well. If you haven't done well, then as I say always, a couple of watches of this, a couple of extra bits of, you might have been having a cup of tea, you might have been having some food as you watch this. You may not quite be in the mental state where you're really focusing. And if you're not, you won't remember stuff very well. So if you've struggled, that could highly probably be the case. Put all those things down, do it again, do it when you're a little bit fresher or whatever, but it will eventually go in. If you've done well, then of course write a revision card on this, nice and easy, one medium, one hard. And until next time, stay positive, stay safe, and enjoy whatever you're going to do next.